We have a special guest with us this morning. Denver Mayor Michael Hancock joins us to talk about some of the biggest issues facing the city of Denver right now. Thank you so much for being here.
Good to be back with you.
Yes, absolutely.
So the 2020 presidential race is top of mind for so many people, obviously. Yeah. You just endorsed former Vice President Joe Biden this week. Tell us a little bit about what went into that decision.
You bet. You know what? Quite frankly, what happened on Tuesday with Joe Biden was good for the Democratic Party and good for America's future, quite frankly. You know, I took some time to really just study the issues, but when it came down to it, Molly, it was really about who can unite this party and who can unite the United States of America. And there's no better person in my mind than Joe Biden. And by the way, when I made the decision, I felt so liberated and so jazzed. You know, I quite frankly hadn't felt that energetic and excited about November's election until that nomination, of course, after Tuesday.
Wow.
And I think you're the only one. A huge voter turnout statewide for this race. Any idea who might make a good VP, Joe Biden?
You know what, he will, you know what, I think he's going to take his time to find the right person, the right balance, and also think about what's happening today in America and the opportunity to bring this nation together, begin to heal some of the wounds that have been created over the last 3.5 years, 4 years in this country, and really find that voice who can, I think, help move this nation toward a more balanced approach with regards to policy and opportunity for all Americans.
Okay. The other big issue we're all talking about, of course, is coronavirus. Concerns still running high over the virus. Just this week, Governor Jared Polis announced an emergency plan if and when the virus hits Colorado.
Yeah. What are some of the measures the city, I guess, is taking to kind of prepare itself?
Well, first we want to take it seriously, right?
Sure.
And we want to take a look, you know, make sure that we're doing everything we can to coordinate messaging, coordinate resources, and coordinate agencies. And that's why I formed a task force led by our Office of Public Health and Environment and our Office of Emergency Management. Those two entities are going to lead a multi-agency task force that makes sure that we're coordinating in all those fronts, that we know what our supplies are, we know where, if infection occurs in Denver, where it's occurring, what we're doing with those individuals, and making sure that we're able to continue to send out coordinated messages so we do not create undue panic. Right. But we also are sharing the most up-to-date information with the residents of this great city. And so we are focused, we're trying to stay prepared, and we're trying to move forward. But let's be real clear, people need to do the very basics. Wash your hands.
Right.
If you know someone who is symptomatic, try to stay away from them. Do not shake hands. You know, and it's kind of instinctive that we shake hands, right? So now do a fist bump. Keep moving and have a good conversation and hopefully keep everyone safe.
Hey, I'm a germaphobe, so I love the fist bump, okay?
You know.
All right, so obviously it's hard to strike that balance between being prepared and also not, you know, invoking panic in people. Do you anticipate the city would have to cancel any events like concerts? Is it just too early to tell?
It's too early to tell. Not at this time. We have not had to have that conversation, but again, that's why the task force is in place, so we can stay on top of those things. We, again, understand where our levels of infection are happening and making sure that we're making the right decisions, and every agency is on board. And so we've already had that forum, they already had their meetings, and they already are moving forward on these plans in the event that we do have an infection.
Speaking of making the right decisions, we know you're a big Broncos fan.
Big Bronco fan.
Let's talk about AJ Bouye.
Bouye.
And coming to the defensive backfield. Your thoughts on that move?
Well, let me tell you something. I have watched him since the day he was drafted by the Houston Texans. And of course, he was signed by Jacksonville as a free agent. I will tell you today, that will probably be one of the best signings John Elway has made in the last several years. This guy is a baller. He reminds me a lot of Champ Bailey. He's smart, he's instinctive, he's athletic, and he is a shutdown corner. And so when I heard that they traded for him, I was like, that's a move that makes sense. That's what champions do there.
He's got some link to him, too.
He's got some link to him, but he's a heck of a player.
Right. And it also might mean the end of Chris Harris's time with the Broncos.
Yeah, and I know Chris personally. He's a friend. I hate to see Chris leave. I don't want him to leave Denver. He's phenomenal for the community. He's a heck of a player.
Right.
But, you know, this is business, unfortunately. As a fan, it's hard for us to understand that, but it is a business. And if they can find a way to keep Chris, I would love to see Chris remain. He and his family are phenomenal for Denver.
You bet. All right.
Mayor, always nice to have you in the studio. Fist bump.
All right. We'll see you both next week.
Right.
2 weeks from now.
All right. Sounds good.
Take care.
Thank you.